Some mornings you wake up and you just know everything's about to fall perfectly into place. You know that feeling? Sun slanting through the blinds. Birds out there making a racket like they're auditioning for some Disney movie. Coffee's hot. The air's got that slow, lazy Saturday vibe. That was me, standing barefoot on the porch, watering my patch of grass, just about as happy as a person could be, until the universe sent me a walking migraine in the shape of a neighbor. I swear, the woman's voice could peel paint. You think you can just come here and steal all the good sunlight? It doesn't belong to your kind. Yeah, that happened. I actually froze. Hose still running, mouth open, wondering if I'd gotten concussed and woken up in a Twilight Zone episode. Let me back up a sec. I'd only been living in that house for 6 months. Bought it on my own, fixed it up, felt a stupid kind of pride every time I stepped outside. The porch, the green grass, the way the sun hit my kitchen window, my little slice of peace. All that shattered by one woman in a cheetah print robe and sunglasses bigger than her attitude. She stood at the edge of my driveway like some deranged game show host, one hand on her hip, the other jabbing at my house like it owed her money. I tried politeness. "Excuse me." She scuffed closer in her fuzzy slippers, radiating entitlement. "Don't you excuse me. I've lived here 30 years. My house gets the hot, nasty afternoon sun. Yours gets the good morning sun. It's only fair we swap." She said it like she was offering me a cup of sugar, not demanding a house I'd spent years saving for. When I said, "I'm not sure what you want me to do," she doubled down. "We're going to swap houses. You haven't put down roots. It'll be a simple trade. I have seniority in this neighborhood." The woman wanted a house swap because, and I quote, her humors were aggravated by the sun. Like we were living in medieval England, not Maple Street. At first, I figured it was a joke, or maybe she'd gotten into the boxed wine a little early. But she was dead serious. I told her flat out, "No, this is my home. Conversation's over." That's when she dropped the pretense, started ranting about you people coming into her neighborhood, and next thing I know, she's pulling out her phone, shrieking to 911 that her neighbor, me, was threatening her with a weapon, her voice turning all frail, Oscar-worthy, sobbing about an aggressive man with a weapon, which, by the way, was my garden hose. Now, if you've lived on this planet the last decade, you know exactly the story she was trying to paint. The scared old white lady and the dangerous black neighbor. I saw it coming, every headline, every horror story. But I wasn't running inside to play into her fantasy. I calmly put down the hose, pulled out my phone, started filming, made sure every word and fake tear was on video. The cops showed up, 2 officers, hands hovering by their sides, scanning for threats. She rushed to them, her performance hitting new heights. "That's him, officers. He threatened me. Refused to leave." I explained my side, kept it calm, showed them the video, the hose, my pajama pants. Their posture shifted. The cop just looked tired. He'd seen this movie before. They talked to her, told her sunlight wasn't a legal right, told me to call if she tried anything again. As they left, she shot me a look that could cut glass and shouted, "You haven't heard the last of this. I have a lawyer." You ever get that feeling? The pit in your stomach, knowing something dumb isn't over. I backed up my video files, braced for round 2. Sure enough, a couple days later, my doorbell rings and there stands a guy who looked like every bad lawyer joke rolled into one. Sweaty, cheap suit, briefcase, hair slicked back with what I hope was just gel. He announced himself as a legal representative, never gave a name, and launched into some benevolent exchange nonsense, shoving fake legal documents in my face, trying to pressure me into signing away my home. He even insisted his client needed a prepossession inspection so she could plan her drapes. It would have been funny if it wasn't so pathetic. I refused, made it clear I wasn't playing, and this guy wilted. "You're being obstinate. My client has rights," he whined, brandishing his fake documents. "Get off my porch before I call the cops for trespassing," I shot back. He left, muttering about further legal avenues. Sure, pal. From there, it got pettier. A day later, I found an official eviction notice taped to my door. Comic Sans, misspelled, signed her legal representative, threatening to evict me for sunlight hoarding. I kept it as evidence. My sprinklers started going off at weird hours, aimed at my windows. My trash can got knocked over, ketchup squirted everywhere. The woman was escalating. It was death by 1,000 cuts, hoping I'd just move out to get some peace. But I had family. My brother's a contractor, no nonsense, knows houses inside and out. My sister's a paralegal at a big law firm. Sharp as hell, never backs down. I told them everything. My brother scoped out her property and spotted a nasty foundation crack and gutters pulling away. My sister dug into the lawyer, and here's the twist. Turns out he's her nephew, washed out of law school, never passed the bar. So not only was the legal rep a fraud, but her house was probably falling apart. Suddenly, her obsession with mine made sense. We held a little war council. Option 1. Hit her with a cease and desist, threaten real legal action, hope she stops. Option 2. Gather evidence, file criminal complaints, bring the DA down on their heads. But my brother, grinning, suggested we hit her where it hurt, her crumbling house. Leverage. We'd demand she pay for a full inspection by a licensed engineer of our choice, or we'd bring the hammer down on her nephew. The next time her nephew tried his Barnaby Finch, Esquire routine, I caught him on tape admitting he wasn't a lawyer, laid out the terms, and let him sweat. The following day, he showed up pale and shaking, handed over a handwritten note. She agreed to the inspection. My brother picked the toughest firm in town. The silence after that was eerie. No more drama, just waiting. The inspection report was brutal. That house wasn't just a fixer-upper, it was a health hazard. Foundation about to fail, water damage everywhere, toxic black mold, DIY electrical work one spark away from burning the place down. The engineer's report said it should be vacated immediately. That's when it hit me, she knew. She tried to dump her death trap on me, swap her collapsing mess for my safe, sunny home. That wasn't just crazy, it was evil. My sister, the strategist, knew the city would take action if they saw that report. So, anonymously, she made sure the engineer sent it to the Department of Building and Safety. 2 days later, a city inspector arrived with a warrant, spent hours in her house, then nailed a bright red "unsafe for human habitation" sign to her front door. Condemned. Her nephew melted down in the yard, yelling at her about how she should have fixed the place years ago. They packed what they could and vanished. I never saw either of them again. That house sat empty, a red warning sign like a scarlet letter, and the neighborhood started thawing. People finally talked. Turns out she'd bullied a dozen other folks over the years, but I was the first to push back and win. The city eventually foreclosed, tore the house down. The lot sat empty. I took some of my settlement money from an old lawsuit, called the developer, and bought the lot. Planted grass, strung a hammock, made it part of my own yard. Peace at last. But here's the real kicker. Last spring, my parents retired, wanted to move closer. My brother and I built them a little house. Bright, sunny, beautiful. Right there on the land that woman tried so hard to weaponize against me. Her legacy is gone. In its place is family, laughter, my mom's peach cobbler baking in the kitchen. I look out every morning, see my parents' home shining in the gentle sunlight. The sunlight she thought only she deserved. And I feel this deep, bone-deep peace. So what do you think? Was I right to fight back? Would you have done the same? Or walked away? I honestly want to know. Drop your thoughts down below. Tell me your own neighborhood war stories, or just argue with each other about what justice really means. Because if there's one thing I learned, it's that sometimes the system works, but only if you make it. And sometimes, karma just needs a little push.